Tyler Perry, very well known in the US, a very world-famous, well-respected TV producer and film producer. There have been some sexual assault claims made by him. It's a chap called Derek Dixon, and it's a $260 million lawsuit. And let me say it's interesting because...
Oh my God, you are not going to believe this. So Harry was just minding his own fancy life in California, and suddenly all these whispers started about Tyler Perry having secret recordings, and girl, these were not just any gossip, they were supposed to be real talks between Harry and Meghan, and people who claim to have heard them say that the stuff in those tapes is totally different from the story. The Sussexes have been telling everyone about Archie and Lilith. It is just crazy, like who even thinks of this stuff?
He revealed this on the Netflix show. He appeared as a character witness for Harry and Meghan in their 6-part show. This throws all sorts of issues, legal issues as well, commenting on it because it might develop over the next couple of weeks and days. But
oh girl, you will not believe this. Harry totally lost it. Like witnesses say, it was one of his worst freakouts since leaving royal life, and you know he always protects his family privacy, so just thinking those private words were out there totally panicked him. And even the staff who have seen him upset before say this was next level, full-on panic, raw and unfiltered, the kind that made security people step back and look away.
Mediate with the parents. I mean, in a sense, a godparent, one of the great things, of course, the real mission of a godparent is to make sure that they're sort of brought up in a Christian way and then sort of confirmed at a certain age, that we know. But also godparents can be very useful in sort of mediating between parents and saying, well, he said...
So get this, the tapes go all the way back to when Harry and Meghan were hiding out at Tyler Perry's Beverly Hills mansion. Everyone thought it was just a safe spot away from the British press, and that Perry was being super nice, giving them shelter and security. But what no one knew back then, and is only coming out now, is that Perry was secretly recording some of their conversations, saying it was for safety reasons, and honestly, no one really knows if it was really for security or just to keep stuff for himself.
Celebrities and sort of figures like this. But it doesn't really mean anything particularly. I know if the Queen, Elizabeth II, was a godparent, one of the things she would do would be to go normally to the wedding of the godchild. And the one exception, funnily enough, was Charles.
And now things are getting even messier because Harry is suddenly at odds with someone he once trusted, and people who have seen the tapes are saying the worst part is that they show differences in what Meghan said about her pregnancies, the births, and the first months of Archie and Lilith. Like the timelines don't add up. Places they mention in casual talks don't match official stories, and the way they talk makes it seem like they knew what people assumed and just let it be, which is kind of wild.
Stood up for them while they were leaving the royal family and on this whole champion trip abroad. So I just think that it's really, really not a good look for them. And let's see what will come out of this.
I think if accusations of this kind in court, this kind of legal writ had been made against Prince George's godfather or Prince William's godfather.
Oh girl, if this is true, it means Harry and Meghan let people believe the wrong stories for years, and when Harry first heard about the tapes from someone he knew, he totally lost it. Like staff at his Montecito home say they heard a heavy door slam, lots of pacing and muffled shouting, and one helper who was getting notes ready for a charity call was just told to leave, and then Harry apparently stormed into a study, slammed his fist on the desk, and yelled all kinds of things about Perry so loud that 2 junior staffers were so shaken they asked to move to another job that same day.
It would be a huge story, I think. Do you know what I mean? It would bring
well,
a lot of attention.
do, but I mean, in the days when the Evening Standard used to have a placard outside, it would always say something like Queen's cousin in grave trouble. I mean, you bought it and then you never heard of the cousin, had you? They like to make an association with the person. You know, that's how they do it.
And the craziest part of all this drama is the irony of Harry and Perry's friendship. Perry was not just some celebrity, he helped them. He gave them his home, his stuff, and his connections when they were really vulnerable, and Harry and Meghan even called him a hero in public for helping them, but now in a twist straight out of one of Perry's movies. The guy they once praised as a friend is the whole problem.
Well, that's totally right. I mean, I'm not specifically associating all the lawsuits and the accusations, anything disparaging about Lilibet, but it needs to be drawn attention. This is somebody who's very close to the Sussexes. Harry and Meghan went to his 55th birthday in September, which kind of doubled up as Harry's birthday last September.
And now Perry is holding on to stuff that could totally wreck one of the main stories. Harry and Meghan have been selling about being devoted open parents. Making a safe space for their kids and for Harry, this is more than just a media problem. His image as a dad has been at the heart of almost everything he has done since leaving royal life, from books to interviews to speaking tours, and being a father is always shown as what keeps him grounded when everything else feels against him.
After Harry's 40, if they live close in Montecito, and they're very close to the Sussexes, so we'll have to see how it pans out.
Watch how quickly they drop him, seriously. I mean, just watch how quickly they go, oh, sorry, toxic brand, gonna step away from you, even though they're the ones who are really toxic. So I just think it's gonna be another person who's just thrown to...
And if those tapes really show lies, it's not just a story falling apart, it's Harry's whole credibility, his moral image, and who people think he is. Insiders say Meghan reacted totally different from Harry while he was freaking out and could not hide his emotions. Meghan stayed cold, calm, and all about fixing the problem. Someone who was in the room said she did not yell or pace or look upset. She just said, well, deal with this, and people are now guessing maybe Meghan saw this coming way before. Harry did asterisk.
We'll watch this space. Let's just dwell a little bit on Lilibet and Archie. We saw a little bit more in a video posted on Meghan's Instagram page.
Well, I'm getting fed up with seeing the back of their heads and hearts stuck over their faces when they go to Disneyland and things. I mean, either show them.
And Meghan just switched into boss mode so fast, like within hours of hearing about the tapes, she was calling PR people lawyers and a few trusted media friends. The goal was simple: figure out exactly what Perry had, see if anything could be challenged legally, and start a story that would confuse things before it went public. Meanwhile, Harry was way too emotional to join those talks. He spent most of the next day locked in his room, ignoring calls and skipping plans, and this difference in how they handled it only made the cracks in their marriage bigger. People who work with them closely say Harry just could not.
Don't show them at all. But I mean, you can see what she's up to. I just think there's going to be a terrible revenge when those children grow up. I mean, I don't know about you, but I would be very annoyed if I found that I'd been used in all these posts in a strange way by my parents. And equally, they're also going to grow up at one point and discover...
And Harry has always struggled to control his feelings, while Meghan keeps everything organized. And in this situation, with stakes so high and the fallout potentially huge, their differences were impossible to miss. Meghan was already making moves, while Harry was still stunned by the first shock. And to make Harry even more angry, some of the tapes apparently did not just stay with him because Hollywood. Sources say a few clips were quietly played to others.
They knew their grandparent, their grandfathers. I mean, Mr. Markle, I personally think of course, he's a broken man, but he's a rather sweet man, actually, and he did a lot for that girl when she was growing up. Didn't you think?
Yeah, I spoke to him a couple days ago, actually, and he's just absolutely still distraught about.
And some of the tapes were apparently played in private to a few industry insiders, and even though Perry has not said anything, the reports are serious enough to freak out everyone around the Sussexes just thinking that strangers could hear these private moments, laugh, talk, and judge it. All has pushed Harry to the edge, and there's also a legal side to this. If the tapes show anything that does not match official records, Harry and Meghan could face way bigger questions than just public opinion. Legal experts are already pointing out how recorded statements versus legal documents could be a problem. And on top of that, he still does not have contact with Meghan.
Fact that he still doesn't have contact with Meghan.
And then, of course, they will also wake up to realize that they could have been, the cousin to Prince George, the future king, and they could have been over here having a nice time, and with the other children, their cousins, they aren't going to know them. I mean, the only hope in that direction,
And not being able to talk to Meghan could lead to questions that are super invasive and really hurt a couple who are already careful about what people see and having to explain everything under oath would be a total nightmare for anyone connected to the royal family. And everyone is watching closely. Palace staff, who have long thought there are inconsistencies in the Sussexes' stories, are quietly collecting info, just in case things get worse. And even though the palace does not control Perry or the tapes, the drama could still mess with how the royals manage their image.
sort of, being serious and sort of less aggressive about it is, I think Princess Eugenie could do quite a lot, because she's obviously the one who's close to Prince Harry, and if do you remember all that Portugal business? They were going to buy a house and things, and if those children then met Eugenie's children, then perhaps eventually they can.
Especially if this scandal brings up arguments about Archie and Lilith titles and status. By the end of that first week, Montecito was super tense. Harry's usually busy home office was completely quiet. Meghan was making calls behind closed doors, and the staff were walking on eggshells, barely talking and avoiding eye contact to calm sunny life. Everyone saw from outside was still there, but inside every little thing was full of suspicion and urgency. Now the question is not if the tapes will leak, but when and how much they will show. And for Harry,